So time to go back with another video. I'm Strange Wang. Today I have a ranking video of every David Fincher movie ranked in honor of him releasing The Killer on Netflix. I can't think of a better time to do it. It's up to date, so let's knock it out. At number 12 we have Alien 3. He doesn't even consider this his movie because of all the studio interference. I didn't feel right to put it any higher, and honestly, it probably wouldn't go any higher. The film sucks. At number 11, we have Mank, and Mank never gave me a reason to care or sympathize, to feel like Mank was cheated. He got fucked. I never got that investment in the character. However, I did enjoy learning about the history and the making of Citizen Kane, and that was great. But when it comes to watching Mank again, I never need to rewatch Mank. It was cool. Gary Oldman was great. David Fincher is a really good director. But there's really no point in the movie, I felt like. So, number 11, we got Mank. Number 10, we have The Killer, David Fincher's newest film. Me personally, it just didn't stick the landing. We have a lot of these hitman revenge movies now ever since John Wick exploded onto the scene. David Fincher, with his style and everything, I thought he was going to knock it out the park. It was good. Nothing stood out. Nothing was great. It was pretty average. And because of how invested and how much I was looking forward to it, because it is David Fincher and he's one of the best directors working today, I was really let down. So I'm not saying it's a bad film. I was just very disappointed with it, which is why I have it at my number 10 spot. The Game is next at the number 9 spot. The Game is a good movie. Michael Douglas, he's always decent in thrillers. I love Michael Douglas. The problem I have with this film is it's hard to buy in sometimes. It's a little over exaggerated. It's tough to really invest in what you're watching, and the situations are so outlandish that it's kind of, alright, you had me but you lost me, and then it will get you again, then it loses you. But the ending, I like the ending. It sticks to landing, but the film is overall good but frustrating at times, so number 9 is where it lands. Number 8 is Panic Room. Panic Room, super underrated. Great premise, great acting, just doesn't have a moment or the cinematography to really pop off, to make an impact, so it just kind of floats underneath the radar. I really enjoy Panic Room. His 90s style directing is very heavy in this film, and it looks dated, but other than that, this film is great. It's missing a key ingredient, kind of like how I felt with The Killer. It's missing a key ingredient to really make an impact. But tension, no one does tension nowadays better than David Fincher, so had to put it high on my ranking of his films. Strange Wang just waited way too long to watch The Social Network, and after hearing it's the best film of the 2010s, it's one of the greatest films of all time. It's so good, it's so great, it's amazing, it's incredible, and then you finally sit down to watch it and it doesn't live up to the hype. It just is a good movie. Writing is incredible, directing is incredible, the acting is also incredible. I feel a emotion the entire time while watching this movie. I feel very strongly about not liking any character in this movie, and just makes me hate the man, you know. It's like, man, fuck Facebook. I don't want to get on Facebook. I got 3 baddies in my DMs and I still don't want to get on Facebook after I watched that movie. So it's a good movie. It has investment, to a odd type of investment, to make you like sink your teeth into the situation because how much you dislike these characters, and you just want to see where the story goes, to see if they get what's coming to them. And it's good. It provokes emotion. It covers all the bases. It's not missing anything. It has scenes to pop, the acting and everything. It's just, it was so hyped up, and watching it for the first time in 2023, it just didn't live up to the standards I obviously came up with it in my head, because I was like, that's a really good movie. It's just not one of the best films of 2010. I wouldn't put it in the top 5. Top 10? Maybe, probably, but it's a good film nonetheless. Number 6, we got Zodiac. Basement scene is one of the greatest scenes ever filmed in the history of cinema. The suspense and everything in it is just mind-boggling. This is a long movie. David Fincher always makes 2.5 hour movies. This is the only one where I can say the pacing on it kind of feels like it's 2.5 hours, but there is enough stuff in it to keep you going to the next scene, and you're solving a mystery with these people, so it's very easy to have investment and not show a lot of character development, but you get enough of both to really care about these characters and sympathize with their home life and sympathize with the case that they're working on. And Zodiac brings everything you want from a thriller to the table, and just like real life, who's the killer? We don't know. So it leaves you thirsty. It leaves you in the exact same spot as the people you're following in this film. And I really love that about this film, that it puts you in their shoes. The most surprising one on my list, this is one I watched for the first time. Social Network and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. These two films eluded me all this time, and I finally watched them in preparation of this video. And it might be because I split it up. I fell asleep watching The Curious Case of Benjamin Button because I had to wake up very early for my job. So after it got done with the weird part of him being an old man, she's a little girl, but they're both 7, after that weird ass shit, and working a day and coming back to it that night and finishing it off where he's on the ship, it's not that weird. And because I lost that stigma from not watching it, I really, really enjoyed it. I got Forrest Gump vibes from it. It was endearing. It was emotional. It was heartwarming. It was like a slice of apple pie. Number 4, we got Fight Club. This film was probably everybody's favorite film at some point. It's just one of those films where you love it when you watch it at a certain age. It provokes emotion. It changes your attitude, your viewpoints on life. It makes you think. It changes the way you watch at cinema. It has phenomenal scenes, phenomenal dialogue, acting's incredible. The editing, the stylistic choices of David Fincher, his directing style is just chef's kiss. Everything is perfect for what this movie is and what it needed to be, and his vision of what he wanted this movie to be is perfect. And it's one of his most well-made movies because there's not another film like it. The style of it, the dirtiness, the grittiness, the attitude of it is only can be encapsulated in Fight Club, I feel like, and that's what it brings to the table. And like I said, it's at one point in time, it's one of your favorite films of all time, at least for me and close personal friends of myself. They all love Fight Club at a certain point in your life, if you watch at the right time, for sure. And Fight Club's something that I'm always going to have in my heart. It's going to hold a special place there. But you grow up, you watch other films, film tastes change, and it's almost like a novelty. You see how much it is in your face, but it does give you one of the greatest cinematic endings of all time, and I love it. I respect it, and it's still a great movie. It just doesn't have that punch that it did when I was 16, 17, 20 years old. Number 2, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Fucking incredible. I'm still sad we didn't get a trilogy from this. Rooney Mara, her performance is incredible. If you work with David Fincher, you're going to have a really good performance. But her performance is outstanding, sticks out. Daniel Craig is also great. Christopher Plummer, amazing as well. Skarsgård, good as well. But this film, it's shocking. It's a film that stays with you, and that's, well, in some parts of the writing, where the story leads, obviously, if you know what I'm talking about. But his directing in this is haunting. It's very well thought out, and for a thriller, that's what you want. You want to be thrilled. You want to leave the audience breathless. You want to manipulate and control them. This is exactly what this film does, and it's one of the best thrillers of all time. With that being said, it's David Fincher's thriller, so it had to be very high on this list. It keeps you guessing. This film has your heart pumping like Reeboks. This film keeps you on your toes like a ballerina. It's everything you want in a thriller and more, because David Fincher's behind the camera, so you get all of the cool style, you get the cinematography, and he's David Fincher. He can push it a little bit, you know. He has the room in Hollywood. He has the respect. So you really get his movie with this, and I really enjoy it a lot. Even though the original is much better, but that's just personal. Number 2, we have Seven, another huge movie in early David Fincher's career. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and everybody's favorite actor Kevin Spacey star in Seven, and it's just an iconic movie. Obviously, what's in the box is memed and parodied, and people forget how good of a movie this really is because of that. I personally feel like Morgan Freeman gives his best performance of all time in this film. It has depth, it has layers, the dirtiness, the grittiness, the stylistic nature that David Fincher brings to the table shines on 10 in this movie, and the climax, the building of it, the case, the ideas of the case, the way we view the detectives and everything is perfect. It's a David Fincher film throughout. You can watch this, you can see his style, you can see where he wants to take you in this film. It's everything I said for Girl with a Dragon Tattoo can apply for this. It's a thriller as well. It will keep you on your toes like a ballerina, that's for damn sure. But the reason why I give this is the edge. You can watch this and clearly see this is a David Fincher film. It has his fingerprints all over it, unlike John Doe's, because he burned them off. But the one thing that keeps this from being my favorite David Fincher movie is Brad Pitt. His performance is a little annoying. You have spots where he grows a little bit, and in a normal movie they would grow to be closer, but this is realistic, and this is a week, so we're going to have moments where they are growing together, they're coming together, they're enjoying each other's company more, and there's going to be times where they just don't get along, they don't agree, they don't see eye to eye, and realistically that's how it would go, and that's how it does in Seven. However, Brad Pitt's character is he's kind of annoying in this film, and he's a young rookie cop, so he gets the point across, but watchability is like, alright, I don't feel as bad about Shawty's head being in the box, but it is what it is. I still feel bad, but not as bad. That makes sense. Gone Girl's number 1 because it's the only movie we have left, and Gone Girl is mind-boggling. It is incredible. I watched this film and I thought it was a fucking horror movie. It is a horror movie. Women are scary. This film just takes you as an audience member. It makes your stomach turn. It makes you think. It makes you in the spot of the detective. It puts you in the spot of Ben Affleck. It puts you're guessing you're in the spot of the sister. It puts you in so many different directions where it just turns you and confuses you, and you're just so invested in the story, and then it hits you with this point and this point and this viewpoint and this new evidence. The story just unfolds so perfectly and is so well paced that you're watching this 2.5 hour movie and it feels like 45 minutes just because there's so much going on, and it never gets boring. And because it never gets boring, it keeps you on the edge of your seat, and when it gets to the end, by the end of this movie, you're gonna have some type of emotion provoked from this film. And David Fincher as a director just twists and turns, and because of that, he made a film that is new, it's unique, it's similar to things like Fatal Attraction or those style of movies like Basic Instinct, but it makes it serious, it makes it mature, it makes it feel more realistic, with real problems and everything. And that modern setting really helps. And it takes all of that and it keeps you guessing. So by the end of the film, you are on you're on a rager. At least I am every time I watch this film, because what you want to happen doesn't always happen in films. And David Fincher, he's a artist, and this is art at its finest. And because it's David Fincher's, I personally think this is his best movie. And it comes down to the emotion provoked, the thrills, the guessing, the edge of my seat, the writing, the cinematography, everything in this film is so damn good. And it says, I am a David Fincher film. Gone Girl's my number one. Let me know in the comment section below, what's your David Fincher ranking? What's your favorite David Fincher movie? If you want to type all those out, just let me know. The killer review is up on the channel. The I was somewhere in this video. Be sure to click on that and watch that as well to get my full thoughts. But as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.